Well, aloha, all you beautiful gangsters. How's everyone doing today after an eventful 24 hours, I guess? How is everyone? Let's do some shout outs. And Sean, I can't see you. Bright and beautiful. Lots of handsome. All right, brother, man. I see the shaka. Thank you. All right, let's do some shout outs real quick. We're going to do a quick intro, and then we're going to get right to Sean because we have a lot to talk about with this young man. Tatiana, good to see you. Lance, amigo, you're in Thailand. Why are you on this stream? Why are you not out eating more of that horrible durian? Sandy, good to see you. I know you notified a bunch of people. Judy, good to see you. Congratulations on your win. Mara, number 5, good to see you. Lisa and Shane Michael, how are things over in Aussie land? Diane K, good to see you. Ute, Linda K, hopefully your handsome husband is there with you. It's 6:40. Man, you must have just got home if it's 6:04 a.m. Christy, great to see you. Nancy Edwards and Jacqueline, good to see you. Is Janet on yet? I wonder. How's the music level when I'm speaking? Is it? Can you guys hear it okay? Or is it too loud? It's okay. How about for you guys? Yeah, Shane. So I'll just give you a little preface for this, for the guest we have. Then we'll do the updates and we'll bring him on. Sean is like Mr. Maui. This dude will be able to tell us everything we need to know about Maui, day trips, multi-day trips, rental cars, his tours, of course, and some other things that I personally think are really valuable that I know a lot of you really enjoyed the live stream and the interview with JK. He was very Ohana related and culture based and about the Hawaii. That's very much about what Sean is like. And we've had a number of conversations prior to this call. And I just really like how the approach he brings to his tour company. So we'll talk about that in just a few moments. Let's do a couple of quick housekeeping notes just for just the updates on the current events and things coming up. Obviously, there's some really good events for the last quarter and a half of this year. In August 15th to 24th is Ocean Fest, and I will be gone that almost the entire month of August, so I will be missing Ocean Fest. But Duke's Ocean Fest, if you're here from August 15th to 24th, you're missing out if you don't attend some of their events. And everything around those events is centralized in Waikiki, centralized Waikiki, right by the Duke Kahanamoku statue. They're having the surfing contest. There's going to be cultural shows. It's quite amazing. And then in September, there's Aloha festivals, and it's between the 6th and 7th is the Aloha Festival. They're going to have a ceremony at the Royal Hawaiian. They're also going to be having a street festival on Kalakaua. And the dates have moved based on what I was told. So the best thing I would do that I can recommend is going to waikikibeachstays.com, waikikibeachstays.com, and just check on their dates because they may have shifted one day. They may have just carried over what their dates were last year for this year, and it's just off by a day or two. September 21st is the Aloha Festival. There's going to be a street festival for sure. It's a 70th annual. It's on Kalakaua. And then on the 28th of September is the Aloha Floral Parade. If you've never seen that in person, you definitely want to see that. October 12th, they're going to have the Waikiki Fall Festival. That is also on Kalakaua, and that is a big one. That fall festival, they have about 140 vendors, live music. It's just a wonderful experience. And frankly, a lot of people who come to Oahu and stay in Waikiki, they don't even know about these festivals. Just one day, about 4:00 in the afternoon, Kalakaua is shut down. They throw a bunch of vendors in there. They come out of their hotel and they're just shocked to see it. And it's a really great surprise. But it's better to be prepared. And then on November 8th, the Oahu Festival. That's also going to be a street fair on Kalakaua. And then, as always, between December and March on Oahu, most specifically, or very specifically on the North Shore at Pipeline, is the Eddie Invitational. And if you've never been to Oahu or specifically the North Shore during the winter months, that is otherworldly. Unless you've been out to Santa Cruz at Mavericks, or Ghost Tree, this is the place to come if you want to see really, really monster waves and some super, super talented people. And then, of course, Sean may have something to say about Jaws out by Maui, because that's a whole nother surfing ball game out there. Let's see if there's anything else that's important that I want to go over. We have a bunch of the discount codes and giveaways coming up, but let's just get right into Sean, because I really want to focus on that. We're going to probably wrap up, and I will give you the updates and all the discount codes. I will definitely give you Sean's discount codes, and then update on the other discount codes and campaigns that we've got. So Sean, are you ready to roll, my brother? Give me a thumbs up if you can hear me okay. All right. Okay, guys, this is Sean Storm, and isn't it fortuitous for him that he bought a company called Hawaii by Storm, and his last name is Storm. I wonder if that was lucky or if he just renamed it that. All right, guys. So let's give Sean a welcome. We're going to bring him on. Let's everybody give him some aloha. How are you doing?
Good, everybody.
All right, all right. Can you see the comments on either YouTube or Facebook?
The comments. Let's see. This is all new to me. Yeah, there we go. Okay, I'm starting to see the comments.
Okay.
And yeah, I actually started my company myself.
No, I know. I was teasing. Hey man, this is almost like it has to be. I mean, it's a company called Storm. But so everybody give him aloha. I appreciate it. Tracy and Penny, Mary Kate, Michael, glad you guys are here. Diane K. So let's get right to it. And Cassie Vegas, Miss Cassie Vegas, the world-renowned, internationally recognized Cassie Vegas, is on. So Sean, of all the businesses that you could possibly start up, and there's never a shortage of tour guides and tour companies on Maui, why would you open a tour company on Maui? What got you started?
I actually been a driver myself for many years, and drove for a lot of varieties of companies, bus tour companies, private tour companies, and I knew there was a different way of doing things, and I like to support the local community without having bias towards a favoritism towards one place or another. We like to show the whole thing, and the best way to showcase the island is to have someone that has the same passion for the community and not just looking at it as a job. And so what better way to do it besides starting your own business? And so when I started my company, it was just myself, one vehicle, and then all my other constituents on the road, because you know everybody on the road. When you're a driver in the trenches with everybody, you meet all sorts of people working for all this the different companies, and so like, Sean, I want to come work for you. I want to come work for you, because they know what type of an individual I am, where my passion lies towards the community, and showing the guests an experience that's unparalleled.
So one of the things that really attracted me to having you on is the fact that this is totally unsolicited. We were talking about discounts and giveaways, and we can help you or help us, but I was drawn because of the messages that we had exchanged about, things had been slow over COVID and through the fires. We talked about that a little bit, but the fact that you were so impassioned about your family and you didn't call them employees, your team members, and the fact that, needing business and wanting to do for them. And it wasn't about making money really for yourself. Can you talk about that a little bit and why that's important to you?
Well, because what's the number one stress, or there's two stress factors in life, right? It's your mortgage or your rent, and where you earn your income. And if you have a comfortable work environment, working along, and a family aspect, you enjoy going to work, and they also enjoy being around people. And if I could create an environment where people enjoy what they do for a living, and then share it with others, that's the direction that I wanted to go. because life is always stressful, and but we're on an island. We're all about community, and my team members are my family. If we're hungry, they're going to feed us. If we have a long day or anything, we're all in this together, and we all help each other out. And also, it doesn't matter what company you work for either. We are all on this roadway together, and that's what Maui is about. It's not about just an individual. It's about everybody in the community.
Well, I was drawn to that, and there are a couple people, because I've seen your videos that you've posted for Facebook and the group. There's a couple people on there that are actually characters that are just, they look like the guy you would want to see. I mean, no offense to them, because I think it's very authentic, and it just draws you to them. That this looks like the guy that you'd see locally in Maui. You would say, hey, dude, can you take me to this waterfall, or can you take me on this tour? And they seem so impassioned about their job. Who was the guy that I mentioned to you on our last call? Very gregarious type guy.
That was my assistant manager, Michael. And most of my team members or family has been born and raised on Maui. And so Michael's a big, loving guy. He's very passionate about the whole island as a whole, and the industry, and informing people that join us about the culture and what it means to be part of Hawaii or Maui. When people come and visit us, and he's just a big, loving guy. I mean, if you guys ever met him in person.
Well, everybody in your team seems to be so impassioned about their job. I mean, you actually were taking video clips of them on their tours and in the middle of the tour. And you actually did one. You did one the other day about this is an actual stop on your tour, and it was just live and raw and IRL, as we like to say. And it was just it was beautiful. Tell us about that. Tell us about that spot and what your message was.
Well, I think you were talking about Wailea Falls. Was it the falls, or was it talking about Hana Farms?
The falls.
Wailea Falls. Well, there's a lot of different waterfalls along what we offer with Road to Hana. And, the particular stop that I was at with Wailea Falls, it's 97-footer. It's just unbelievable, breathtaking view. And, depending on the weather, sometimes you can go in them. But it's good to bring a little bit of an idea of what you can provide to somebody that would be visiting Maui, because a lot of people hear about Road to Hana and be like, oh my God, the road's crazy, I heard about it. That's why you leave it to the professional. Right. We know the road like the back of our hands, and a lot of people that tend to end up driving themselves, they don't realize that there's zero cell phone signal, so they don't know where they're going. They might not even find Wailea Falls. They won't even know where it's at, and or they don't time things properly, or they go around the blind corner and might get in an accident. So I like sharing what people they can see on Maui, because a lot of people actually that come here that are just purely freaked out about maybe getting car sick or something. They talk themselves out of something that deserves to be shown. And the community out there entirely revolves around tourism. So, when we had the Maui fires, and we'll probably get into that a little bit, but their whole community depends on us visiting them, because there's only so many county or state jobs that can go out. And, you have the local farms that are out there where they growing the fruits and the vegetables and the coffee. And, a lot of the stuff, believe it or not, cannot be exported out of Hawaii. So that's why
so much of it is used on Maui.
Right. But the only way to get local produce that a lot of people see or end up finding out is that you have to go to the farmer's market for it. Because if you go to a grocery store here in Hawaii, you're still going to go ahead and get a Mexican avocado, But when you go to the farmer's market, you get the football-sized avocados that was grown right here on the island.
And they were on the ground or on a plant within 48 or 72 hours or whatever. The benefit of that is not just the taste; it's freshness, no pesticides. It's definitely amazing.
Well, I was just going to say, it keeps people on this island. You know, it keeps us, because it is very expensive to live in Hawaii, but supporting us while you're here helps us remain in our home.
Good, well stated. And I wanted to just preface the rest of the interview by saying this too. I understand that predominantly going to Hawaii is about Oahu, but we do mention all the other islands, and we try very hard to represent those other islands based on the percentage of the people in going to Hawaii that are interested in those islands. For example, we have a gross number of about 230,000 Facebook members and groups, followers. When we do surveys that say, are you interested in Maui, Kauai, Big Island, Oahu? It's about 16 to 18% of our viewers, which is it's a pretty good number, are interested in Maui. And they're usually planning a trip that's maybe a year out or 6 months out. But what I want to kind of focus on a little bit, I want to talk to those people too, but for the people that are coming to Oahu, and you and I talked about this a little bit, the people that are coming to Oahu for 7, 10, 12 days, let's talk just a little bit, Sean, about how possible and how available it is to do a day trip to Maui. I mean, talk us through that whole process and how difficult or easy it is, and do you recommend it? Because there's a lot of people that would do that.
Well, definitely recommend coming to Maui just for a day trip. I mean, some people can do a couple of days, but if it's not within your budget, fly over to us for a day. And, you know, the road to Hana is definitely a must, because when you're on Oahu is the most highly populated island in the chain. You know, of course, there's a lot of features and experiences that you can experience in Oahu, but, you know, people go on vacation to get away from people. And when you come to Maui, our population is only about 140,000 permanent residents. Believe it or not, tourists here actually outnumber us. So I think the ratio is like 3 to 1, you know, when it comes to tourists on the island. So it's much more relaxed. We call it island time, you know, but it's easy. You can catch an Uber over to the airport, or even take your rental car, park it there for the day. You know, if you guys are curious about times, you can call our office. But typically what people do is that they book an early morning flight, land in Maui right around 7 to 8 o'clock, pick them up from the airport, and we take them right on the road to Hana, where they get to see the lush waterfalls. Not like one or two. There's multiple waterfalls. If you do our full circle, that includes 2 waterfall swimming stops. And, you know, you're right there in the element. You know, you'll see the red sand beach, the black sand beach, and the white sand beaches. And you'll see turtles, bamboo, you know, pretty much, you know, because everybody has an idea of Hawaii when they come on vacation. You know, I mean, I was a tourist at one point in my life. I am a transplant. I'm a Hana transplant. But, you know, in my mind, I came to Hawaii, you know, I'm thinking the lush tropical jungles, waterfalls, the fruits, you know, everything. And then when you go to the concrete jungle of Oahu, it kind of gets lost a little bit over there. And of course, you can go to different places on Oahu, but just with the day trip, you fly over in the morning, experience that, and then we can get you back to the airport in the evening. And you don't have to book a separate accommodation, you know?
Yeah. Well, there's a couple of things you pointed out that I want to touch on. One is the possibility of it being a day trip, and we'll talk about more in details. But when you're doing the road to Hana and you have the choices, there's actually 3 choices. You drive it yourself, hire a tour operator, or you take the helicopter. The helicopter trips are a small fraction, so we'll skip past those. But the difference between taking a tour, and tell me if you agree with this, the difference between taking a tour with a private tour like you, as opposed to doing it yourself and maybe, you know, quote, saving some money. First off, again, tell me if you agree, the driver is not going to enjoy the trip. They'll see nothing. Second of all, when you pull over to a waterfall, let's just be honest, you may not find parking. The parking may not be ideal. You may be tempted to do illegal or out of zone parking, or your car may be broken into. Now, if you're with a tour operator, they know where to park. You're in and out of the truck. You're not waiting 30 minutes for a parking spot. You can leave all your valuables with the driver in the truck. They're going to show you so many more places that you will never ever see, and you may just pass by. That to me is well worth it. Would you agree with that?
Oh, absolutely. You know, and also the road to Hana does have a funny nickname. It's called the road to divorce. You know, in any relationship, when you know, any relationship,
Told you.
you know, one person knows how to drive better than the other, and the other person tells the other person, no, I know how to drive better. And, you know, and you're supposed to go on vacation to relax. That's why you guys spend
Correct.
thousands of dollars to come here. And, you know, when you're on an unfamiliar road, unfamiliar territory, and then we revolve around our cell phones. So when you don't have any of that, you know, it's the tensions start to rise. But also, you know, there's a lot of cultural context of where you are. This is not Disneyland. This is a community that has been here for generations. And the Polynesians, they came here, you know, almost 2,000 years ago. And so there's a story to be brought into. And when you have a local that's been around, raised here, and it explains to you what the spirit of aloha actually means, it will just provide entire context to your entire vacation, and it will mean so much to you. You know, whether you do a tour with me or anybody else, that is the way to experience the road to Hana. You know, and gosh, you know, what happens if you guys were to get into an accident with your rental car? You know, then all those other variables start to come into play. And, you know, and then some people don't have enough in their budget to even pay for the insurance in the car too. You know, so then that starts to rack up, you know. So definitely take it with the local and you'll never forget it. And you know what? After you do a tour with somebody, you know, you might have a little bit more context of where you are. So when you do come back and you decide to budget a little bit differently, you know how to handle things, and it's not mystery road.
Exactly. Well, let's talk, because I think, well, I don't think, I know that we are going to start promoting Maui much, much more strongly now, because we're getting some relationships with some hotels and other activities and things like that. And you, of course, I want to start convincing people, I guess it is, that a day trip is very doable. Flying over at 7, doing enough activities to make it worthwhile, or maybe a 2-day trip, maybe doing a stay over. But one of the things you mentioned, which I really like that idea of it, is that you don't have to do overnight accommodations. So you're probably cutting $300 to $500 off your trip if you do a day trip. So let's talk about that for a second, Sean. What does it look like if someone's going to fly from Oahu to you? What does that day look like?
So if they were going to be joining my tour with Hawaii by Storm, your driver would be in direct correspondence with you the evening before. So we make sure that there's no open-ended communication. Everything is all ready for you to go. So you got your flights plans. We know your flight numbers. And you touch down, we're waiting right across the street from the baggage claim.
Oh, excellent.
So we do have the permits for the airport, so we pick up right there. And then we can go over to a grocery store if you want, or if you want to go get some local coffee once you land, you know, to perk up a little bit. And then whatever tour that you select, my personal favorite is the Famous Epic, where we go. We're one of the only companies that go around the entire east side of Maui. So we'll start our transition to upcountry Maui, and the views are absolutely ridiculous. I mean, you're up at 3,500 feet above sea level within about 20-minute, 30-minute time period, and you're just seeing all the
Sean,
different mountains.
one second, Sean. So you're saying from about 20, 30 minutes from the airport?
Yes.
Wow. So you get into it right away. Excellent.
Yeah.
Excellent. Okay. I'm sorry. Go ahead. I just want to clarify that.
Oh yeah. And so you see that we take you to the Maui Honeybee Sanctuary, which a lot of people, you know, love honey. You know, honey's a
I
good
would love
thing to
that.
bring back home. Oh yeah, with all the local flowers, you get to experience what, you know, flowers do which. They have a whole spectrum. They even have infused honeys. So, and then there's an area of Maui that is completely untouched, and that is the backside of Maui, and it's in the area called Kaupo. And Kaupo, literally no power lines, no structures, no nothing. It's mostly government-owned land or leased land by Maui Cattle Company. And so you get to really see what Hawaii is actually supposed to be, because, it's supposed to be about the land and the community rather than, big, tall skyscrapers. And so, we take you to the waterfalls. I did see a comment, they're like, well, that's a 12-hour tour. Well, a 12-hour tour is because you're spending all the time at multiple destinations throughout the day. And, if it's a 12-hour tour, you're having a blast. You can do it in as little as 7 or 8 hours, really. But we're the type of company that we want you to relax and experience. And typically our guests do take the full day. And, as far as the airline goes, a lot of people are concerned, well, what about my flights? Well, who do I book with? You call the company that you're going with us, you call us, we'll tell you, we'll look up at the flights right at that time, tell you, book this flight number and then your departure flight at this time. Let's just say you guys decided to skip some stops and get back to the airport at a good time. There's no change fees with Hawaiian Airlines as well as Southwest. And you guys aren't checking bags. So you just go right up to the checkup counter and say, hey, we got to the airport a little bit early. Our flight was at, 8 o'clock. We're here at 5:30. Can we catch this, 6:31? And it's easily done like that. So it's really easily doable. And, you'll definitely get the Hawaiian vibe at the end of the day. Now, if you wanted to do an overnight accommodation, you're more than welcome to do that. You can do our tour, and we'd be happy to drop you off at a resort of your choice on the island.
Oh, that's a good point. That's a good point. I'm glad you mentioned that.
Yeah, I mean, as long as you don't pack the whole house, we're good. Yeah. Well, our Ford Expeditions do have plenty of room. Even our Broncos, we're the only company that offers open top Broncos on the road to Hana, which they're definitely way cooler than the Jeeps. The convertible top goes all down and they ride really smooth, but they got really good storage compartments in the back, for your luggage. And yes, they will be secured for the day. But yeah, you can
That's excellent.
You could go over to Lahaina on the west side, maybe Lahaina town since the fire situation, but Kāʻanapali all the way up to Napili is just fine. Restaurants are open. The sunsets on that side of the island is fantastic. There's a lot of local businesses that would love your support. You could even go into Kihei. Kihei has wonderful sunsets as well, and a little bit more beaches. But the restaurants are a little bit more spread out. So you would have to have a car or Uber a little bit to get to those destinations. Or if you're like the bougie type and you want to have the resorts,
Janet.
the main focus of our resorts would be in Wailea. You got the Fairmont. Fairmont's beautiful, right on the water. You also got the Wailea Beach Resort. Wailea Beach Resort is my favorite because they even have an adult-only pool. So, something about a
the Grand Wailea is right over there too with
the Grand Wailea. Yeah, it's a very beautiful resort. It actually has the most expensive room on the island if you guys can afford it. I think the presidential suite
$35,000.
Yeah, 35. But you got your own butler.
Yeah, it's the Waldorf Astoria Hotel. I'm familiar with that.
Oh yeah, and on the west side, you got the Hanua Kai. You got the Royal Lahaina Resort, the Hyatt, the Westin, and they're all upstanding properties, and we're all eager for people to come visit us and, enjoy what we have. So whether a day trip with us or overnight or even a few days, it's all doable.
There's one thing you mentioned that I don't want to just brush over the top of it, because I really do want to start promoting doing day trips, at least the day trips. And if you want to do a 2-day trip, that's cool. But if you've ever flown over to Maui, that rental car experience could be quick, which is 15 to 30 minutes, or it could be 2 hours. It is terrible. If you get off that plane and can walk across the street, like Sean says, and get in the car and go, and in 20 minutes, you're neck deep in your tour, that's worth $500 to me, to not have to deal with that. The rental car that may be the right car or may not be the right car, may have insurance, may not have insurance. You are rolling the dice when you fly into Maui. And if you could breeze right past that and the rental car situation, that's worth the entire trip for me, for sure. Sean, can you see the comment there from Diane K? She says, there's several here. Are the cost of the stocks for the like honey farm included?
Aloha, Diane. Yeah, the honey sampling is free. The places that we do take you, it is entirely up to you if you want to indulge in it or not. So the honeybee, they have a free honey sampling with all the different varieties. We could take you even over to a place called Lahaina Farms, and it's an organic fruit farm where they have a wide variety of fruits. Like my favorite is a finger lime. I wish I had a finger lime to show you. If you guys Google that later, a finger lime, it's like lime caviar. You literally pop off the top and squeeze it out, and little balls of lime come out. It's just delicious. But you got lilikoi and papaya and everything out there. And, you could get a banana for $0.25, or if you wanted a finger lime, it's 3 for $1. They also have the world's best cup of coffee. Contrary to what everybody thinks is Kona coffee, Maui coffee is simply the best. And we're
gonna have an argument about that, because I believe that Starbucks is the best Hawaiian coffee. I'm just so Sean, let's get back to your tours in just a second, but there's a couple things I know that's important to you. So let's shift gears a little bit. Let's talk about the Lahaina fires and how that impacted local, and how some people are impacted, and how the message that comes out of that. You said it very eloquently. Hopefully you could do it the same way that you did on our call. Tell us a little bit about how important it is, the reviving of that area, and how important that area is to all of Maui, even though it took up just a small portion of Maui. Let's talk about that a second.
So to give you guys a little bit of perspective of how Maui is, okay? Maui is 727 square miles. The affected area of Lahaina is only 5 square miles. It is a lot of devastation, yes, but there's 722 square miles that is completely unaffected. And so, a lot of people don't realize, we all have a story in common. Humanity does, with the story of COVID. And, Maui had the highest unemployment rate in the entire country. We were 70% unemployed during COVID, because our entire economy does revolve around tourism. So when those fires happened, it just devastated us. And, we're all local. You don't get really chain box stores. We had an Outback Steakhouse on the island. That was our last chain restaurant that we really had. And it shut down, I think, 2 years ago. But all the restaurants are locally owned. They employ people who live here year round. And so when my situation happened, I was at a staff of 12. And when the fires happened, everything went to a screeching halt. And it was devastating. And 2024 was you're just clambering to try to get ahead of things. And
and it's not just the devastation of the fires themselves. I mean, I don't want to minimize that or dilute that, because it was horrific. It was one of the worst disasters ever. Having said that, they're now on the road to recovery, but there were so many people that were affected. I mean, just on an individual basis, and when you multiply that being affected by 1,000, 2,000 people, it just kind of branches out. And it's devastating. Not just the devastating of the loss, then it's recovering the business, making the business build back, if you can even build it back. So talk about that for a second. And what's the current status, would you say, in Lahaina?
Well, there's several businesses that were unaffected by the fires that are still, they're making it by, but they're not just making it by. And so it's been really rough for a lot of us to get through. And yeah, to be honest, I'm locking up on it, because I even had friends that were in the fires. I've had friends' businesses shut down because at the end of the day, the people that have money will still have the money, but the small little guys are the ones that are struggling to make ends meet. At the beginning of the fires, I believe there was about 1,800 private businesses on Maui before the fires. Roughly, there's about 700 of us left.
Oh my! So, is that right? Is that accurate?
Yes. Yeah.
Wow.
It's restaurants that have been in business for 30, 40 years gone. And you're always going to get. Sorry if somebody's named Karen, it's just a subject matter, but you're going to get an internet Karen occasionally, just sitting on their phone, stay away, stay away, stay away.
Exactly. But we talked about that.
One person, right? And it's just one person that's saying to do that because they have nothing better to do. But when you're actually here, and as long as you're a respectful guest to our island, and you're not going in there, like I said, it's not Disneyland. You don't go be walking into a devastation area taking selfies, and because people did perish in the fire. But you're totally fine. You're not going to have any issues whatsoever.
Yeah.
And the only way to find out is actually coming here and seeing and experiencing the aloha.
Yeah. Well, I mentioned this to you on our call too, Sean, that we being a forum, if you would, of Hawaii lovers, they love everything about Hawaii, every island, what have you. And we have thousands of people that are on our page every day. I mean, we have like 3.5 to 4 million views on our pages per month. And they're coming from all over the world. So they were not as connected, obviously, as people on Oahu or even Maui or other islands. And they were asking questions like, is it okay to come? And I'm not sure if it were the Karen types, which I agree with you 100%. But there were so many comments, and it was almost the majority, I would say, in the very beginning. Don't come to Maui. How could you come to Maui when there's this devastation? People lost their lives. And I think that had such a negative turn. I know it had a negative turn on people coming. They either canceled their Maui trip and they went to Oahu, which it was probably just a doubling down on the disaster because it took money away and it took visitors away. Yeah. And so the people that were affected, not even in Lahaina, but outside of that, I remember I mentioned this to you on our call. There were a couple of guys who had, I think it was a fish, forgive me if I'm wrong, but I think it was a fish taco truck. And he was as local as it gets. The dudes, he was so just salt of the earth guy. He says, hey, I still need to feed my family. I still need to get school supplies. I still need to buy food. I still need to pay rent. I need to do. And he ended up being one of the heroes, or one of the, I don't want to say heroes, one of the highlights, because people came to his food truck and they did this fish food truck or fish taco truck. And he flourished. I think some other, by virtue of him doing that, flourished too. I just want to make sure that people know that not only is it great and welcome to go, but you really should go. And even if you're on Oahu, try and think about doing a Maui day trip, because any of those trips, all that money goes goes to the locals. And I would say, would you agree that way more than Oahu, when you do a day trip in Maui, it really gets down closer to the locals than it does here on Oahu because the commercialization on Oahu?
Without a doubt. You go to a waterfall in Oahu, they'll give you a life jacket. Doesn't matter if you're a 35-year-old or a 50-year-old that's been swimming their entire life. They'll throw you a life jacket, say you got to wear it, and I know some of us can't fit into a life jacket properly. So, but you're immersed into what Hawaii is and was. And that's what you initially came here for. Yeah. And
it is I know it's a very sensitive issue. And I mean, even without the fire disaster, now that it's somewhat being rectified on a day-to-day basis, the banyan tree is growing, there's businesses opening up. So hopefully it's going to be a more positive outcome sooner than later. There's still some disparity between residents, longtime residents, Kāʻanapali, hey, don't come to Maui, it's our place. Or so there's some people like yourself who is, been adopted. What's the word for an adopted Hawaiian?
So Hanai is a given name. It's a given name. It's someone that is Kanakamo'ole gives it to you. You don't just walk into a room and say, hey, I'm Hanai. It's something that you because there's a whole history that transpired here. There's a whole belief system, and it's not our mountain. It's the mountain. It's the land, the beach, not our beach. It's the. It is a place. It is a being. It is everything about it, and you have to understand the differences because life is not always about money. It's not about how much you have. It's not about it's not about I'm getting lost on it, but basically, guys,
that's okay.
If the community here is for each other, we're not going to like the same flavor of ice cream nowadays. You guys see it wherever you live in the world. Everybody has a difference of opinion. But you here in the true aloha community, you can literally have a hobo and a multimillionaire at a same gathering, and they're talking together like there's nothing different. That is what aloha is.
Yeah, I agree with you. And I get that some people were upset about people that were visiting Maui right after the fires, but I was of the perspective that, and I still am, I think that was more so the time to go to Maui. I mean, not right after, like within 30 days, that's when you should have been going, but go over to other parts of the island because, as you said, it directly devastated a very small island. Now, if that fire happened in California, it doesn't matter because you have, thousands of or hundreds of miles of shoreline and hundreds of other places you can go. It's not that big of a thing, but when you take that small of an area and it takes, just by virtue of that area being devastated, it takes out all the visitors and all the hoteliers and all the activities and all that revenue away. I think it was the worst time for people to not come. And make sure you just stay away. Just go to the other parts. Would you agree with that or no?
Well, yeah, yes, but what put a lot of, like I said about the internet Karens. Sorry if your name's Karen, it's not really towards you, but there was people that were visiting and taking pictures and sharing the devastation when it wasn't the right time to do it. And
exactly.
It takes one or two posts to go viral nowadays, especially if you know how to do the hashtag thingamajigger, it just gets out there. But when our entire economy revolves around it, so you go look at the fire situation. If you take somebody's home away, then the chance of rebuilding, which the rebuilding process is not going to take 2 years, it's going to take 10 or more.
Yeah. Exactly.
So you take away their livelihood, you take away their chance of rebuilding anytime soon. It puts into a situation of them truly losing everything. And I think just within the last year or so, there's actually more Hawaiian blood that's living outside of their own kingdom than there is actually in Hawaii.
Yeah.
And the situation that we're in, some might disagree with it as far as our primary income source is tourism, but just not going because somebody says not, it just furthers the exodus.
Exactly.
I had a young kid. He was working for me, beautiful young kid named Adam. Not gonna, but anyways, Adam, him and his wife had a beautiful little girl, 2-year-old, just bright as day. And they would support our company, when we come bring back the tour vehicle. And you guys know how fun you guys are on vacation sometimes. And he got, just immediately after the fires, his income was gone. And we did have a GoFundMe. I gave away every single penny I could to my employees. I gave that entire GoFundMe that we had during the fires, I gave it away to all my employees. I did not keep a single penny. But then it still wasn't enough because unemployment takes time. And unemployment might not cover a lot. And then FEMA was coming in. They were offering a lot of money for rent for apartments. And so what ended up happening to Adam is that he lost his place to stay. And he ended up having to move to Alaska. That was the only place that he could go.
Goodness.
He got a job on a fishing boat. If you saw this kid, he is a 5'9" Filipino guy, must weigh 120 pounds. Oh yeah. And go work on it, man. I mean, but that is the reality of the situation, guys. So, but we're still here. And just like I said, even a day trip coming over and supporting Hawaii by Storm, or whether any of the other businesses, it means so much. And you will get the taste of aloha. And there is a reason why Maui is Maui no Ko'oi, which in Olelo, that is the best.
Excellent. Well, I love all that diversifying from your company and talking about the culture and the people. But let's now get back to your tours. Tell us a little bit about the tours, the services, the type of interaction people can expect, and then kind of bring in that, which I'm either going to owe you a huge apology for turning you on to Cassie Vegas and Mr. Cassie Vegas. As I told you, I mean, this is the God's honest truth. This is what I told you. I said, if that lady has the time that I think she's going to have, she will not shut up about it once she has it. But if she has a bad time, she won't shut up about it either. So I'm confident she's going to have the time of her life. So maybe talk about your tours and what are some of the aspects of the tour you have planned for Cassie and her husband to do.
Well, I had the privilege of talking to Cassie, so I could tell you.
Well, now wait a minute. I wouldn't. Okay, go ahead.
She's from the South, and I love her accent. Louisiana all the way.
Did you need a translator at all, or no?
No. But she, there is a saying, a good old Southern hospitality, and she's definitely one of them. So the cool thing about when you call my company, you're not getting a call center. You're getting me or my assistant manager, Mike. So you're going to get someone.
That's true. Every time we've called.
Yep. It's straight to the point. And, with our service, I decided to do a flat rate private tour company. There is private tour companies that still charge per seat, and they'll inflate the price, as it goes up. But, I'm not in it to make, an extra buck. I'm in it to supply a good working job for the people that are here, so that they can afford to stay in their homeland and love their life. And so, for example, like if you have a group of 3, the standard bus tour rate, right? Bus tours are great, depending on what you want to experience, but bus tours are structured. They also don't have vehicle capabilities like my vehicles do. So with the bus tour, you have about 12 other people on the bus. With us, it's just you. So for our Bronco tour on our full day, it's $9.99 plus tax. Of course, you got to pay Uncle Sam.
Okay.
And that full day tour can be up to 12 hours. It could be done as little as 9 or 8. But what I'm trying to lead to is I don't rush you. It's private. We want you to experience things. But if you have a family of 3, it's the same cost of what it would be on a bus with 12 other people. If you have a family of 4, it's actually cheaper. We have luxury Ford Expeditions, which our Ford Expeditions are fantastic. They got the electric running board. So if you have grandma that's 106, I did take a 106-year-old on a tour at 4 generations in one vehicle once before. And it was
wow. How cool is that? How cool is that?
She could get in and out, and then with the private tour, we could leave the vehicle running, If she said shotgun, she even has an air-conditioned seat. And yes, you can sit up front.
Nice.
And, with our rates, if you have a group of 7, it's substantially less than a group bus tour. And then you can stop as often as you need. You go on with the bus tours, I call up cattle companies with them. They got to herd you around, and you have to, if Terry and Tom is taking, 30 minutes extra on a stop, well, the driver has to get you back at the hotel at this particular time. So you only have 5 structured stops. We can do as much as 10. Because we're not worried about Tom and Terry and Gina. It's just you guys. But also, you have a friend for the day. You know, a lot of people
Yeah.
don't realize that the way that my company works is we are people that get along with everybody. So, I mean, you want the robotic tour? I can do a robotic tour. Look left, look right. But I'm going to have a conversation with you. You know, occasionally you do get the reserved people that would like a private tour for reserve, and that's fine. You know, but if you talk to us, we're going to talk back and we're going to have a blast with it. And then that's why we get the reviews that we do. Anybody can go on Google. Anybody can go on TripAdvisor, see our Yelp reviews. Those are actual reviews. Read them and let them explain what we do.
Right. Well, you know, just to draw a little finer point, and because I want to get kind of in the minutia of what the cost is, like your rate, what you or what the people considering doing a day trip with you, just think about the time value of money in not having to rent a car, not having to waste your time, being picked up at the airport, having a driver. Let's say if you just rented a truck and then you hired a driver, how much is that driver going to cost you? $100, $200 for the day at least? Are they going to know the places to go? Are they not? Are they going to be able to park in the right way? Can you trust them? Can you not? What Sean's talking about is a pickup at the airport, taking you and giving you an experience that is not from a quote hired tour guide, because, you know, I don't want to disparage other tour operators because there's a lot of very fine operators. I wouldn't say a lot. There's some fine operators, but there are many others that are and you can tell they're you know, no offense, they're just what they are. They're just white dudes from LA, from the Valley, or from San Francisco. They flew out somewhere. They've taught them, you know, how to drive the car, and they told them, hey, here's in the case of on Oahu, there's Haleakalā, there's a macadamia nut farm, and they just drive on through. Someone that I, just as a comparison, just because we've had such a great experience with them, is JK of High Five Hawaii Tours. He's here on Oahu. He reminds me much, very similar to you, in that he's all about family, all about culture, all about taking people on a trip that they're going to cherish, not just a rented driver, you know. So those types of things, they're going to do that exact same thing on Maui. And I think just taking the hassle of renting a car, trying to find road to Hana, because even if you rented a car and did road to Hana, you're probably talking about all those expenses, maybe $200-300, and then you don't really know what you're doing, where to stop. You don't have the security. I just think it's a wonderful package, in my opinion.
Right. And I saw a question pop up, Tracy. It's a flat rate private tour company, so we charge for the vehicle, for the tour that you choose, whomever fits in that particular vehicle. And all of our tours can be viewed at hawaiibystorm.com. It's easily broken down. Yes, flat fee for whoever fits in the car. Yes. And I'm also the only luxury private tour operator for Haleakala National Park. So if you guys do end up coming here,
cool.
Well, because you know, there's a lot of companies out there that because the National Park Service is very hard to get permits for, and I'm the only private luxury tour operator that's allowed into Haleakala National Park. So if you did do an overnight tour, because there definitely is not a mountain that's as high as Haleakala, which she is 10,000 feet above sea level. And I actually had some friends yesterday with the tsunami situation going up to 10,000 feet and videoing at the top of the clouds. Yeah, the tsunami's not going to get me, you know. But we could go up there, pick you up from the airport on one day.
You could have stood on a thick book and not got affected by it. But go ahead.
Oh, yeah. Well, thank God. You know, really thank God for that.
For sure.
And, but, you know, like, you were asking earlier about multi-day tours. If you guys wanted to come over and do an overnighter, we can pick you up at the airport. We'll take you up to Haleakala for sunset, which is 10,023 feet above sea level, and then take you to your resort accommodation afterwards. And then we can pick you up for road to Hana in the morning, then drop you off back at the airport at the evening. And there's your 2 days. And like I said, all of us
I think it's wonderful.
Can be found at hawaiibystorm.com. And, you know, it's Hawaii by Storm. It's not Hawaii by Walmart.
Yeah, exactly. Tracy, I want to respond to that. I think she said, is it $900 per person or is it for the group? He said
Yeah,
it's for the entire group. Go ahead.
yeah. That's what I was responding to earlier. And yeah,
Oh,
she
okay.
asked there would be four of us together. Yeah, the Bronco, the sizes of your individuals. It is a very comfortable vehicle. But if there's a little fluff involved, someone does have to ride the middle seat. But that's why we offer the luxury expedition. The luxury expedition is plenty room. I'm 6'3". I weigh about 240 pounds. Yeehaw. And I could sit in the third row without issues. So all rows recline in the expedition, everything. Mm-hmm.
Okay, cool. So that means, Lance, you'll have to ride in a second car behind the first one, but they could probably figure that out with you. He knows what I'm saying. Lance is one of our cherished members. Lance is one of our cherished members. Let's see.
Wendy just brought up something I want to point out. Okay, so again, I want anybody that's on this to support all local businesses. Whether my company is not a good fit for you, it is important to support the local tourism here. And I always appreciate anybody joining my business because it helps keep my employees working. So that's where I come from. So when I give you guys recommendations, it's because I want you to have the best vacation possible. And Wendy asked, do you prefer Haleakala for sunrise or sunset? Sunrise is cool, but you got to think of the logic of the situation, okay? I do not have the sunrise permits because the big conglomerates, the big cattle companies, the ones that have the mainland owners, they were the ones to get that permit in 2018, and they got a grant for that for a 10-year permit. So nobody can touch those sunrise permits till 2028. They had, you could have your theories with the briefcases of money or whatnot. But anywho, think about you're on vacation, right? So sunrise, what time does that happen? It always depends on the time of year, but let's go off of you got to get picked up at your resort on an average about 2 a.m. Then from your resort, from where you're staying, just to get to the top takes another 2.5 hours. Then you're finally at the top and you got to watch it from starlight to sunlight. So starlight to sunlight, the sun starts cresting and starts rising, let's say 5:15, because the stars are beautiful, don't get me wrong. But it's coming up on the east side of the island. And it is beautiful, but what I'm trying to lead to, you're not going to get back to your hotel till about 11 o'clock or noon. So what are you going to do?
That's a long morning.
Right. What are you going to do when you get home? You're going to sack out. Yep. So you pretty much dedicated your entire day just for sunrise. Now, let me tell you about sunset, right? Sunset sets in the west, right? Unless we're on a flat earth, right? I'm just kidding.
Right.
So
again, Lance.
So anywho's, sunset, we pick you up at 1 to 2 o'clock, depending on the time of the year. So you get to wake up at a normal time, still have your breakfast, go out and get your nails done if you want to get your nails done. Other things, so that way it's not taking up your entire day. We pick you up and we can go stop for a food truck before we go up and have a late lunch, or you guys can have lunch beforehand. And then we take you to Hosmer's Grove, which is an endangered bird species sanctuary. I guarantee you the bus companies can't go there because the parking lot's super small. And there is endangered birds everywhere. It's absolutely ridiculous. I thought they were joking the first time I went to Hosmer's Grove about how many birds are there. But I'm talking about bird species that has only been there. There's about 800 left on the planet. So it's really cool to experience. You won't get to experience that on the sunrise. You're just going up there to watch the sunrise and have someone take you back to your hotel. Now, just to circle back real quick, if you wanted to drive yourself for the sunrise, I wanted to give you an idea of the permit process. It's kind of the same stressful situation as the Arizona evolved into over in Pearl Harbor. So when you get the sunrise permits, they launch them, I think, 30 days out. and there's only 144 parking spaces. 144.
Okay.
So they only release half of the 144 parking spaces 30 days out from that particular day. I can almost certainly guarantee you those 72 parking permits will be sold out within seconds.
Oh man, I bet.
You literally have to have 15 people in your household on the website at the same time. That's because I've had people tell me they do that to get those permits. Then remember, I said only 72 out of the 144. So that other 72, they release them 72 hours before, same style. So you better pick it up within seconds.
Yeah.
Otherwise,
Wow.
there is zero chance of you actually experiencing the sunrise on your own. So you would be ending up going with the bus tour company, like I was mentioning, and that's the only way for you to see sunrise. But when I was to wrap up the sunset situation, you get to see more of the different viewpoints, the visitor center. If you want to get a stamp in your passport, a lot of people have those national park passports they like to bring along on them when they're experiencing stuff. So you can go do the visitor center, get your stamp on your passport, and then we take you up to the different areas along the side of Haleakala, and then we set up nice Coleman chairs for you to watch the sunset. And if you guys can visualize for me for a second, a lot of people don't remember that clouds only sit about 4,000 to 5,000 feet above the ocean. Remember, I said Haleakala's summit is at 10,000 feet above the sea level.
Yeah.
So with sunset, you get a double sunset. You know what?
One below and one above.
One below and one above. It is so cool. Of course, when there's no clouds there, it's still cool, But when there is clouds, you get a double sunset where the sun has a brief moment before it crests the horizon and it lights up all the clouds. But also, people are forgetting the direction of where the sun is setting. On Maui, if you're looking west at the top of Haleakala, you see Ko'olave off to your left, which is one island. That's a forbidden island. You see Lanai, that's the one that Larry Ellison owns. It has one of the top 10 beaches on the planet over there. And then you have Molokai off in the distance. You get to see all of those islands with the sun setting. And when you're 10,000 feet, it feels like you're flying. So that's just to wrap it up, at least for the sunset aspect. And so you guys can get a better understanding of the difference between sunrise and sunset.
Very good. Thank you. If you have questions, start putting them in the chat, and then or the comments, and I'll start making notes of them. And then when we wrap it up with them, we can go through those questions. I may ask you to post them again. So, Sean, you and I spoke about this as well. I don't want to get too far off on other activities and tours and things like that, because we want to keep the focus on yours. But you also said that if someone is coming over for a multi-day visit, you also have connections with other tour operators for snorkel or scuba or things like that. You mentioned that those are some things that you can help arrange too. Do I have that correct?
Yeah. So a little bit about my background. Okay. So I'll give you a little context how I ended up here. I'm a poster child for the heck with this. I'm moving to an island. We have all had that thought run through our heads, and I'm actually followed through with it. So one of the first jobs that I got, imagine, you're moving here, you don't know a single soul, you were a tourist at one time. And my first job that I got was actually a concierge, one of those guys that sit at the desk at the hotel. And this guy, you got a great bubbly attitude. You should come work for us. I mean, I'm sure you guys can tell. And he says, you get to do all these activities for free, because you got to know your product in order to
sell it.
Yeah. And so I got the privilege of experiencing majority of the luau's on this island, the majority of the snorkel trips, the helicopters, the zip lines. And, as a pro bono service, if someone's on the phone with me, I don't mind giving them directions because of what they're looking for. Because like I said, everybody deserves to have a good vacation. And I'm not in it for a buck. I want you to have a good experience. So if you're wondering like, well, hey, I got 3 kids and, we want to go on a snorkel trip. Well, how old are the kids? if they're college age kids, a catamaran. If they're younger kids, you want to go with something that's a little bit more catering to kids, like Pacific Whale Foundation. Pacific Whale Foundation, a little bit of their proceeds does go to help the proceeds of the humpback whales. And I believe 8 and under is free per paying adult, if I'm not mistaken. I think they might have changed it because of the economy. But, they got floaties, they got, all sorts of different things. And mom can hang out in the boat while dad's out there with the son, or vice versa. And it's a really fun experience. Or if you have older kids that want the catamaran, you guys can leisure and go out with Trilogy or see Maui, or, there's so many different things. Janet is asking, what are the top 5 things to see or do for one day on Maui, not the road to Hana? Well, it depends on you. If you're going to come over for a day trip, Maui is not the island for shopping. So that's out.
Sorry, Diane and Sandy and Janet. And Wendy.
There is shops. But if you're flying over here to spend money to come visit, Maui's the adventure island. Maui's the place where you go experience the aloha. And Oahu, it does have more selection for that. So top 5 things is hard to narrow it down because, snorkel trips leave early in the morning, because I don't know if anybody's aware of the weather patterns here. The winds are always low in the morning. They pick up in the afternoon. So a snorkel trip would be out. It wouldn't be good for a day trip. Now, if you stayed overnight, sure, Janet, you guys can do that. You could do a helicopter tour, maybe in the morning, and then do a luau in the evening. But the problem with the inter-island flights, though, is the timing of the late flights. So luau, remember, you're supposed to go on vacation and not stress. So Haleakala would be definitely a fun day trip to come over as well. We could take you out and experience some of the towns like Makawao and Pukalani. You can do that as far as a day trip. Also, there is Iao Valley. It's IAO, and it's pronounced Iao, like a cat's meow without the M. But you do have to go to gostateparks.gov and get a permit for that.
Okay.
There is also the Maui Gold Pineapple Plantation. If you have an addiction to
yes.
They are a local company. If anybody knows the history about Hawaii, Dole, the only thing good about them is Dole Whip. I will give them that, but that's it. It's the only thing Dole I touch. But
yeah, exactly.
Maui Gold is a local family that lives here and operates on the island, and that is a good place to go check out. But they also have a distillery next door. If anybody has had a Maui mule, if you've ever heard of a Maui mule, but a true Maui mule is only made by Pau vodka. So it's P-A-U. Pau means finished. And, Pau vodka, you can get it at Costco over on Oahu or any of the islands that you're staying on, is made with the pineapple mash. So a lot of regular vodkas are made with potatoes or cane sugar. That's where Ocean vodka uses cane sugar. But Pau vodka uses a pineapple mash. That's right next to the pineapple plantation. You guys can go check that out and do a distillery tour with that. If you're into yoga, there's Maui surf and goat yoga. I
love that. I love that.
Yeah, not for me. I don't think a goat sitting dropping pellets on my back is, something I want to do.
Or their hooves. Their hooves would be terrible. Their hooves they're like knives.
Acupuncture, I don't know. I had a friend try to do acupuncture once, and I put needles in my ear. I did it once, and that was it. But it is a cool experience. There is even a lavender farm that we have here, the Alii Lavender Farm. Alii is spelled A-L-I-I. Lavender Farm. A beautiful garden. The guy he was Japanese, like when they go walk through a garden, and you guys can see that on Oahu, they do an insane job on their garden. They actually did bonsai avocado trees. Have you ever seen a bonsai avocado tree?
Bonsai avocado? No, I have not.
So
I've not seen that before.
Well, trees take so long to grow, and with the avocado tree, that some of the avocados are way up there, but this guy figured out that you can tie down the branches and prune it to where the branches go down low right in front of your face and produce fruit.
Oh, that's cool. Yeah, that's cool.
So,
Sean, check out. I know we've talked about this already, but we've had new viewers come on and leave. Read Tracy's question.
So here's the thing, Tracy. The problem, you can do a day trip, yes, but a sunset, no. Why? It is a one-lane road all the way up the side of the mountain. So if you get a nervous Nancy, sorry for those Nancys out there, but if you get a nervous Nancy that wants to do 10 miles an hour down the entire side of the mountain, there is no way to pass them. And you might miss your flight, because inter-island flights, I believe, stop right around 9 p.m. Correct me if I'm wrong. If anybody's in the chat that's done an inter-island flight later, but I'm pretty sure it stops at about 9 o'clock. And so sunset.
I remember we got cut off there one time at 9.
Right.
That was two years ago, though, but who knows? Okay. So back onto your tours, are all your tours customized, or are there fixed tours that they can go on your website and say, oh, that's a sunrise sunset tour, that's a road to Hana tour? Are they all customized, or do you have fixed tours?
No, they're all customizable. If anybody reads on the itineraries, it will say typical, with air quotes, itinerary. And it's only to give you an idea. As long as it's legal, pono, which means good, and safe, it's okay.
Again, Lance, you're not welcome. But go ahead, Sean.
No worries. And then Lance was asking about the winery. Yeah, the winery.
Of course.
I mean, go for it, bud. I'd rather go to the Ocean Vodka Distillery or the Haleakalā Distillery, because the wine has not won an award in 40 years, man, and they're only known for their pineapple wine. And it's actually cheaper to buy a bottle of their wine at Safeway than it is at the winery. Not discounting the experience. Go up there, still check it out if you have extra time that you're trying to do it, because the area in Ulapalakua is beautiful, beautiful.
So we could talk more about it, but I think because these tours are so customizable, I wanted to let you guys know that Sean, for tours booked between today and through August 31st, and if you guys do a great job, we're hopefully going to get him to extend that. But just through August 31st, you can call them. You want them to call you direct, correct, Sean?
Yes, you can call, and I know there's some international people that are on the live stream with us and will possibly listen to us later. So for those international folk that may not have international calling, you could simply message us on Facebook, and we do have WhatsApp. So if you want to have a direct conversation with us, just reach out to us on Facebook Messenger. Now, if you're in the States and you have a regular, or Canada, and you want to reach out to us, yeah, we love to have a conversation. You could go ahead and have a social media or texting thing, but in all honesty, you're not going to get the true vibe of Aloha without having a conversation. And we can go back and forth on your ideas, so you have a better, clearer understanding than just texting it or emailing it. But hey, any way to get a hold of us, you can email, text us, call us. We'll still try to take care of you the best that we can.
And that right there is the discount code, GTHFB, correct, Sean?
No, it's GTH, but I can adjust it to FB. That takes a couple of seconds. So after the live stream, GTH.
What did you have it as? Oh, that's right. Let me fix that. Let me fix that right now. Dang it, we did talk about that.
Yeah. Oh, Maria was saying Ocean Vodka Distillery is a nice tour. Have you tried their cafe? Might not look like much, but their food is woo!
All right. Sorry about that. I had that wrong. I'm going to somehow blame that on somebody else.
But guys, if you ever give us an opportunity to come out with Hawaii by Storm, I guarantee you're going to have a blast.
That's the discount code.
Yeah, there's a discount code there. But, you know, the way I've always looked about it, I don't know you. I don't know any of you when you come on my vehicle for a tour for the day. But Lord knows what you've been through, what you've experienced, and what might be on the horizon. I'm not your Dr. Phil. You don't have to tell me everything that's going around with it, but it's my job to facilitate the best day that you've had on vacation so that all that other stuff that you've been dealing with goes out the window and you could finally be yourself. And that's the people that I hired with my company. That's what we represent. And also, at the end of the day, your support does help the community. Currently, I do work within the Hana community itself. I've want to be immersed in the community. I was living in the Hana community for a time being, but with the downturn from the fires, I had to move back to town to support my business a little bit further. But I'm a member of the Hana Business Council, so I'm also helping supporting the local business out there. With your patronage on my business, I have worked with the Hana Business Council to finally, after 35 years, begin a project of the Hana Hub. And we finally got a grant after 35 years to acquire a piece of land where the community can congregate, where they can
that's cool.
Bring their food, commercial refrigerators, kitchens, because remember, they're pretty isolated if there's a disaster. God forbid the tsunami did something. But right now, they don't have a huge infrastructure to help sustain it. But we work for that. And your patronage, because this is a volunteer position. This is not a paid position. Stuff in the community, when you want to give back, is a volunteer position. And so with you patronizing my business gives me the opportunity to do that. Also, there is some kapunas, Hawaiian elders. There's 15 lovely people that live out in Hana that don't have access to dialysis. So just to give you guys a little bit of another reason why you have someone drive you, there is no medical services in Hana. They have a clinic, but guess what? If you hurt yourself, you better be able to suck it up on that road getting out of there, or have someone that knows how to do it or knows what to do. But anywho's, to circle back, there's these 15 dialysis patients because there's no dialysis in Hana. So they have to traverse this road out to Kahului every time that they need to do dialysis. And some of them are doing it 3 or 4 times a week. But your support, I was able to sponsor their charity event that's coming up here August 23rd.
I love that. I love that.
So they're going to have bingo night, and have some good prizes. And that's what I like to do. We've all had those jobs where we're working for a paycheck and we just sit there in our lives and our vacation is our escape. And I've always wanted to be in a position where I could give back to our community. And, supporting Hawaii by Storm helps me facilitate that. And it's helping many other lives, because in this game of life, guys, we're all in this game of life together. It's not about me. Some people might think it's me, but it's about all of us.
See, Wendy, just listen to him. I'm talking to Waikiki Wendy Silva. I just wanted her to hear you say that.
My one of my driver's last name, I hope the government doesn't come after me, but my last Mark Silva works for me. He might be your cousin. Who knows?
No, there's not. They ended it with her, I'm sure. So I love that fact that you did that you help out with the local people like that. And I want to come back again because I know we've covered a lot of information, but I want people to understand his tours are all custom. They're by the vehicle. And when you may get, I don't know, maybe you do, I wouldn't, but maybe people get sticker shock. They say, oh man, that's a big ticket. But I want to reiterate, for some of you who weren't on earlier, you're talking about being picked up at the airport, no hassle with the rental cars. And if you've ever flown to any of the other islands other than even Oahu, the rental car experience could be the end of your trip. It could ruin the entire 3 days. Having them drive you through road to Hana, to all these different places, being able to park, being able to do the driving for yourself, having it be secure. And then on top of that, get the local knowledge from people who live, eat, breathe, sleep in that county and that land it's immeasurable. You can do your own road to Hana for maybe $400 with the rental car and all the other costs and things like that. Doing it with these guys and having it done for you, everything done for you, and learning the knowledge and getting the insight, I think that's immeasurable or invaluable.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And 85% of you guys won't come back to Hawaii, and that's fine because it is expensive to come here, but you want to make sure that trip is the most memorable trip and get the true experience of aloha, and it's worth it to spend an extra couple of bucks to get that.
Exactly.
And like I said, I decided the flat rate model because I need to have my margins to sustain my business. But, if you have a group of 4 or even starting at 3 with our open top Bronco, we're neck and neck with the bus tour company. Average bus tours on Maui, and they won't pick you up at the airport.
Right. You're with a bunch of other sweaty people that you don't even like, for sure.
Oh, yeah. And their average price is about $270 a seat now.
Yeah, pass. So no thanks.
We're right neck and neck. And, there is... you like I said, you have a family of 4 or more, you're saving money by going with us. And your continued support does go back. And I
think that's important.
You guys see that. I'm sure you saw my cat going behind me a few times. That's my bougie lady Shelby. But I do live here in the islands. If I wasn't wearing my headphones, you would hear the roosters crowing outside.
Exactly.
So, and furthering it along, scholarship. I want to do scholarships. There's other things I want to do. Yes, the Maui fires did set me back tremendously, but 2025 has been a much better year than 2024, and I want to make the rest of 2025 and 2026 going to be the best years for the community. Because, at the end of the day, success brings hope. Hope brings longevity. And that will keep the exodus from happening.
Yeah, of local Hawaiians. I agree with that. Well, Sean, you've given us a lot of time. I want to kind of wrap it up. We may get some more questions from the viewers or the viewers. If you have questions specific to Sean that he has not answered, or if you want to contact him afterwards, there's the Facebook page. There's the messenger. You can go to his website. I don't know, I doubt you want to give out your phone number, but you can get the phone number on the website.
Yeah, phone number is super easy to remember. If you can remember, it's 808-444-3770. Again, 808-444-3770. And you can call or text that phone number. And remember, we are in Hawaii. We do not answer the phone at 2:30 in the morning. So remember the time difference. Sometimes people call at 2:30 and they're like, hey, why aren't you answering? Any of this can be booked online. There is real-time availability on my website at hawaiibystorm.com. And you guys can see the different dates, plan ahead. We are taking bookings. I actually had someone the other day book for September 2026. She just was like, I just have to book right now. So I have my trip all done. I was like, all right, lady, you're good. So, and then, so really don't hesitate to reach out. And then as far as, there was a recent passing. I want to address that real quick with you guys.
Okay.
There was a recent city council passing about short-term rentals, and a lot of people are going to be a little concerned about that. But no, that will not take effect until 2030. 2030. And like I said,
wow, that's
your support keeps us here. So, hey, whatever's going to happen is going to happen at 2030. We'll address it then. But you coming over the next few years is going to help us recover because we're still recovering from 2023. And I do have a good condo company that I recommend. It is Tropical Bound Condo Rentals. Randy Wolf and his wife are fantastic. Just, hey, give him a shout out. His website is tropicalbound.com. And believe it or not, some of his rentals does include a rental car with his with the rentals. You just would have to have an Uber from the airport if you guys decided to stay. As far as flights, if you guys are planning your flights to the islands, Costco Travel, a lot of good feedback. My favorite is Hotwire, or there's even a website that a lot of people forget about. It's called Skiplagged. That's Skiplagged. All these different things will help you on your trip. And if you call me or Mike, we'll do our best to answer everything that you need to know.
Very good. So I have two last questions if somebody else doesn't have questions in here. So my last question is just rapid fire. If you had to pick 5 places to eat on Maui, so I'm going to come over to Maui. I'm going to do a day trip with you, maybe stay a few days, maybe name a couple of different areas in around Maui. But if you only had 5 places to eat, what would those 5 places be?
Well, it depends on the circumstances. So, if you're trying to, you have a lady to keep the lady happy, or you have the family. So it's either, lady happy or gentleman happy. You never know. Ladies can buy meals for men too. Hey,
nobody on here is doing that, Sean. Move on.
But Mama's Fish House, a lot of people hear about the infamous Mama's Fish House. And yes, it is amazing. But it is expensive. Expensive. We're talking about $70 a plate. But, hey, depends on what you want to do on vacation. But if you're planning your vacation and you have to go to Mama's, as soon as you book your airline ticket, book Hawaii by Storm, then Mama's.
Okay. So Mama's Fish House. What's
the reservation?
Or this?
Mama's Fish House. And then Merriman's is wonderful. That's in Kāʻanapali. That's Merrimans. He's a celebrity chef. He also does have a restaurant over, I believe, on Oahu and the Big Island. So Merriman's is definitely a must-do. Now, Kula Bistro is one of my hidden gems. And if you do a Haleakala tour or you're just on the island, Kula Bistro is phenomenal. You look at the building, it's just, an old historic building, but nothing fancy or whatnot. But it's, I've had people stay at the Hotel Wailea or the Four Seasons, pretty penny, right? And they say that it's the best food that they've ever had on the island. I'm talking lobster mac and cheese. And it's not just like they put the little bits of lobster in it. They put a whole tail of lobster on top of your mac and cheese.
Sign me up. What's the name again? Say the name again, please.
Kula Bistro. Kula Bistro. BIST.
Wow. All right.
Okay.
Next.
So you got Mama's Fish House, Merriman's, Kula Bistro, and there's actually a hidden gem in Wailuku that does have a celebrity chef. It's do not be deterred about the building. I don't know why Sheldon is. If anybody watched Master Chef and saw Chef Sheldon started. He was a Master Chef winner. He is from Maui, still lives on Maui, and he took over a local restaurant in Wailuku called Tiffany's. Now, please, families, do not be swayed by going in it because he painted it black and it kind of looks like a strip club. It's not a strip club. It is the most outstanding local food you'll ever go to, and it's in the town of Wailuku. And again, it's called Tiffany's. It's a black building with the red Tiffany's on the side. And Wailuku is spelled Wailuku. And you got to try the mandu. The mandu, the steak bites. Mandu, it's Korean, but they do the. I trust me. I've been all over the islands. Nobody can touch their mandu. And then their spicy garlic noodles. Whoo! They put those chili peppers, Tony, right? Those tiny chili peppers. Yes. Hawaiian ones.
Yep.
They spice up those garlic noodles with the Hawaiian chili pepper. Woo!
Excellent.
You get the sweet garlic taste, and then the spice hits. So there's that, and then there's if you stay overnight, there's a breakfast shack up in Napili called the Gazebo. A lot of people see a lot of reels like that. The gazebo is really good, but the line is ridiculous. So if you want to go to the gazebo, that's great. But I like, well, there's so many restaurants. I like to go to Slappy Cakes.
Oh, I've heard it. I've never
Slappy
been, but I've
Cakes.
heard about that. That's on a lot of lists.
Yeah, Slappy Cakes is over in Kāʻanapali, and it was an old Korean barbecue place. You know, at Korean barbecues, you cook your own food on the hot plate, yeah?
Yes.
So this one, they decided to open it up, and you get to make your own pancakes at the table. And so they bring all the mix-ins and stuff like that, and it's really fun, family-oriented and everything. It's really good.
Excellent.
Now, fish. Now we're going to focus on fish. Now, you asked for 5. I'm going to give you a recommendation for fish, but I'm also going to give you a smart recommendation. So everybody hears about poke. Poke, right? You know, poke, everybody wants to try poke. So a little local tip, if you go try to get poke, even on Oahu, you're going to spend a lot at restaurants. Okay, don't go to a restaurant to have poke. Where do we get our poke, Tony?
From the fish house or the auction house, or right by the marina?
Maybe for you, but we go to Foodland.
Foodland. Yeah. I was thinking earlier in the process, but yeah, Foodland. $6 Friday
Foodland.
bento boxes, right? That's right.
Yeah.
There you go.
Yeah, and it's fresh, and it's local families. Hey, they don't all work in tourism. They're sitting there, auntie sit behind the counter, you know, making her old family recipe for her poke. That's where you get poke. Now, when it comes to fish, you know, I did mention Mama's Fish House, but a lot of people have heard about Paia Fish Market. That's Paia. Paia.
Yeah.
And yes, there is a town that is called Paia. It's not Paia, it's Paia. The Paia Fish Market, there is still 2 locations remaining because they did lose their one over in Lahaina, and it's a la carte. It's a la carte. It's one's over in Kihei, and one's still in the town of Paia, and that's Paia.
And there's 2 locations here in Waikiki that's a favorite. Those are favorites of some of the members here too, as well. Okay, I lied. I said I had one more, but I have 2 more questions.
Yeah,
just
keep going,
quickly,
man. I got
just quickly, what is the best part of running a tour company in Maui?
Changing people's lives.
How so?
You know, anybody's goal in life is to make an impact on somebody.
Mm-hmm.
And you know, if it's the butterfly effect, Tony. I mean, really, you know, I call it my former life on the mainland. You know, I was an AT&T guy. Not the guy that, thank you for calling, you know, I'm not that guy. I was the guy that would come to your house, climb the telephone pole in the rain, the heat, and everything. And, you know, you weren't making impacts on people's lives. And there's certain people that their soul thrives on changing people's lives to provide happiness, to provide an experience, because, you know, like I said, we're all in this game of life together. And, you know, I thoroughly enjoy making impacts. It's the greatest drug. It's, you know, changing people's lives, whether it's something minuscule, you might say one sentence that sticks to you for the rest of your life, or just, you know, the whole day, just, you know, an epiphany situation. And that's what I love about being a tour guide is, you know, because like I said, at least with the cultural context with the Hawaiian community, their story deserves to be told. They have
I agree.
A really difficult history. And, you know, so there is other companies like the big box stores that are on the mainland that will say, no, only positive. And, you know, there is a way to present it because, you know, there is certain situations, but truth needs to be told. And, you know, making an impact so we don't repeat certain things, or, you know, whatever you take from it. But at the end of the day, if I could impact your life, little or big, that's the greatest part about being a tour guide.
This is the antithesis of that. So what is the least favorite thing? And you have to be honest, what's the least favorite thing about running a tour company other than having a guest like Wendy Silva or Lance Whitney? We'll get past that. What's the least favorite thing about running a tour company on Maui?
The least favorite is people that disrespectful people, like that it, you know, when you get somebody that belittles somebody, that's the only time that it really, because there is some type of people on like that on vacation, and anybody can relate to that, and they know how people, if they travel the world enough, that's one of the most difficult things about the job. But we'll still kill them with kindness, and we'll still smile and nod and hey, you know. But that's another great thing about being a tour guide. If you don't like the person that you're with, you get a new one tomorrow.
Yeah, that's great. That's great. Guys, do you have any questions? Because I have one last question I want him to wrap it up with. Do you have any questions at all? If you do, put them in the comments here. You and I've had several conversations in text and things like that, and I think I can really pick up on the character of your operation, what it's founded on. But what, Sean, is the one message you would have for people coming to Maui in particular, not Hawaii, but Maui in particular, and not necessarily coming to see your tour or to do anything in particular? What is the one message? Because you're going to be talking with probably at the end of it, maybe 18,000 people that have seen this video. What's the one message you have for people coming to Maui?
The biggest message I had: life is about life's experiences. And when you come to Maui, you're going to make an experience that can change your life forever, you know, until you meet the maker. I mean, Maui is so in tune with all the different microclimates that we have. You know, there's a connection for anybody. Yes, and yes, there is places for shopping. You know, I poke fun about shopping, but flying over for a day, you don't do. But, you know, it has all the different variables about one needs. And, you know, you're supposed to go on vacation to experience and live and get all the emotions that you need out of your system, so you could go back to, you know, working that 9 to 5, you know, and be ready for it.
Excellent. Well, Sean, you've been very, very gracious with your time. We've gone over on time, but I really do appreciate it. And guys, I want to have Sean back on for a couple reasons. One, after he takes Cassie and Mr. Cassie Vegas on the tour, his attitude may be completely different about having people come over on his tour. I don't think so, maybe so, but we'll see. But I'd love to have Sean back on. Please reach out to Sean, ask him his questions, use the GTH discount code, you know, get hooked up with a tour. And Cassie Vegas, when is Cassie doing her tour? And actually, I should have asked you that. What tour do you have in mind for Cassie and Mr. Cassie Vegas?
Oh, Cassie, she's going on the Epic. She's going on the famous Epic. That's the full circle. She's doing her open top Bronco tour because it's her and her husband.
Hey now.
And their birthdays. Their birthdays.
Oh,
so,
that's right.
Yeah. And
all right.
So
well,
I think Cassie messaged in the chat. She said August 28th. So, you know, we'll definitely knock it out of the park for her.
Well, I'm telling you, you have got your hands full with both of those guys. They are so fun. Unlike Wendy Silva, they are so fun and nice and respectful and just jovial. They'll do wonderful. You're going to have a hard time with Cassie's accent, and you may hear her say, you know, "Who doggy" a whole bunch, because that's what she says in Louisiana. But I think she's going to enjoy it, and I appreciate you doing what you're doing.
I can talk just like the Southern folks, just like that if needed. So I could translate to Cassie all day.
I can't. Sean, thank you very much. Is there any parting words, any last comments you want to make? Anybody want to ask a last question? We'll let him go.
Yeah, any final questions? And then we'll say our aloha.
I
Next
think
one
that's
that pops
it.
up. No?
Yeah, let's see. What's your last questions? Anybody? Janet's saying she's going to talk to you tomorrow. Cassie says she's so excited. The Lagoon. Yeah, exactly. That's one of Cassie's favorite.
No, respectfully, guys. I really appreciate you taking the time to listen to this live stream. And like I said, at the end of the day, whether you're with me or not, Maui would love for you to come experience it. Our community is really excited to see you. Maui no Ka'oi, once you come over here and you see the difference from Oahu, and you guys could definitely enjoy Oahu. There's definitely a lot of good food there too. Ray's Cafe. Hey.
Hey, there you go. Hell yeah. Well, Sean,
come over and see us.
We really do appreciate your time, sir, and we're going to get you some activity over there. And I really want to start pushing this, at least starting off with the 1 day day trip, how possible it is, and we want to try and get you some business, because I know it's going to go to a good company, good cause, and what I think already is a good man. So I do appreciate your time, sir.
Definitely, brother.
All right, talk to you, man.
Aloha.
Bye-bye. All right, how about that? I mean, we lucked out. We've had several really good people, and everybody that's been good on these last several live streams. I think what a wonderful setup he has there. I learned a little bit more each time, and I'm really familiar with Maui. I've probably been there maybe 30 times, 35 times or so, just on trips and day trips. I've done probably 8 or 10 multi-day trips. I just think it's I think it's great. I think it's great. I can't wait for some of you guys. Cassie, I cannot wait for you and Mr. Cassie Vegas to do your trip. I think it's going to be awesome. So how was the stream? How was the interview? Did you guys enjoy it? Hopefully you did. We have 106 likes and 52 people watching. It got up to like 70 some odd, I believe. I really do appreciate it. Just let me do a really quick recap on a couple of things. The discount code for Sean's Hawaii by Storm is just GTH, because we didn't want to imply the discount as a GTH 10 or GTH 20. Just wanted to point that out. And you'll just need to call and talk to Sean directly. It's very, I know he was a concierge at one time, but it seems like a very concierge in design type tour company. You can almost pick anything that you want. I think it's a great way that he set that up. Fantastic. And just to reiterate, just so you guys know, I probably should have done this on stream. None of these discount codes because someone actually mentioned a couple of times on the stream, just in comments, and we had like 7,800 comments yesterday, that I'm pushing these tours because I'm making money. I'm doing this for the ads. I'm making money on, followers. This is a absolute fact, black, white. I don't make $1 on any of Stephanie's paintings. I don't make $1 on any tours. I'm offered affiliate fees. I'm offered advertising fees. The restaurants want to do posts on here. We make zero money. As a matter of fact, the stars that you guys buy, we've never acted or turned those in to get monetization. So what you pay goes directly to getting you more discounts. We don't make any money on it. I don't charge it. But graciously, each of the tour operators have offered. JK, all the guys says, hey, if you want a discount or if you want a fee, a 5%, 10%, I don't want it, don't need it. I want it to go directly to you guys. So, and I know that's not been brought up a lot, but I just wanted to point it out and make it really clear. And I should have done it while he was on the stream so he could either rebut it or confirm it, but that is the case. Trust me on that. So we have the High Five Hawaii tour that's coming up. Make sure you guys are using that discount code GTH20 for 20% off. I really, really like JK. I think there's so many things that he has in common. I think a lot with even Sean. I mean, the High Five Hawaii tours are a little bit more set. They're not as custom, but if you recall, JK will do a completely customized tour for you. It's just not what they specialize in, but he can certainly do it. And that's really what I would look for. The Aloha Motorsports, I said I was going to have that done today. We won't. There's graphic that we need to get fixed up. But at that Aloha Motorsports for the slingshots, remember, we're going to be doing that campaign starting tomorrow, I promise. And I believe that's GTHFB is going to be the discount code. But that's going to be the slingshots you get. You pay for 2 hours, you get 4. You pay for 4, you get 8. You pay for 8, you get 24. And the parking privilege, I'm telling you, that makes it all the way worth it. Coming up next week, we have a fan favorite. This one's been a little bit difficult, but I think it's going to be challenging, just for timing perspectives, because the guy's just busy. Wade Fishman. He's going to be on next week, next Wednesday at 1 o'clock. We have a number of really, really cool people coming up. We have a honey farm. We have a historian coming up. We've got another, quote, YouTuber influencer that will talk to us about some really cool things I think you guys are going to like. We have a Kaneohe tour guide coming up. And this is probably good news for some of you and bad news for the others. It is about a 95% certainty that I'm leaving Monday or Tuesday, and I'll be gone for a month. But we will be doing more of these panel streams. I'm thinking that we may do them Mondays and Fridays while I'm gone, or I'm sorry, Mondays and Thursdays while I'm gone. I would ask you guys to vote on that to see if you like that, but we really don't have a choice, to be honest. So, and I'll do some live streams out there, but it's going to be in the most horrifically ugly part of the country. But we'll try and find some beautiful places out there. But I will be gone for the month of, for lack of a better framing of dates, the month of August. Thank goodness it's the dates that Waikiki, Wendy Silver are going to be here. So I will be back on September 1st, but we will be doing these Hawaii Travel Talk streams. And so would you guys like to do panels or these Hawaii Travel Talk twice a week, since we're not going to do Hawaii specific live streams? Judy Kahn, is it a 10% discount on what? Which one? And Wendy Silva says, heart. I don't know what that means. What do you mean? Nope. Amanda, you don't see my face because, as many people on here will attest, the few that have seen it have asked me to do it without seeing my face. They said, hey, Tony, is there a way you can not be on camera ever? And I said, yes. So there you go. Let's see. Twice a week would be cool. Okay. Twice a week would be cool. Lance says, after this, I'm off to the breakfast. All right, brother, man. Keep posting about Thailand. I don't care if people don't like it. They say, oh, this is not about Hawaii. I don't care. I want to hear what he's doing. We'll do some walk and talks with coffee. Yeah, I think Mondays and Thursdays we should do. Yeah, Mondays and Thursdays would be great. Yep. Seen by accident. Yeah, those who have seen it, when you see me, when it just turns the camera around, that's the worst possible scenario. And I think that's what people saw when they saw my face, because I was either looking straight down on the camera, I was sweaty, the wind was blasting me, but that's as good as it gets. What you've seen is as good as it gets, and it won't get that good again. So any questions, anything else? Thank you guys for having such a monumental stream last night. We had the most we had on was, it peaked at 3,500, like 3,480, something like that. But we kind of leveled off at about 15 to 2,000 people. We had like almost 300,000 views on the last video, last live stream. So that was really cool. I doubt we'll get those numbers again in a long time, but we're growing, and it's all because of you guys. And that's why I want to bring together all these tour operators and service providers and restaurants and gift cards and things like that, because I want to give back to you guys for giving to me and making all this stuff worthwhile. We're going to have some cool announcements coming up, hopefully while I'm gone, about the website and about the merch. That's all I'm going to say about it. Oh, you saw 38K. Oh, that's good. 3.8K. Yeah, I like seeing their holiday. And if you guys saw Lance eating durian, good Lord, if you have to eat anything using a rubber glove, that's not for me. Plus, we're going to put closed captions in for the next time Lance is on so we could all understand him. And I guess that's it, guys. Thank you very much. And no, hopefully give us a 4 L's if you laugh, learn, love, like the stream. Give an extra L for Lucille. She's sitting right here beside me, snoring away. If I didn't have my phone too far away, I'd be able to put it in front of her face so you could listen to her fat snout snoring away. And what was I going to say about the seal? I was going to tell you something about the seal. Oh, if you didn't see the seal swimming along Waikiki, I actually walked along with that seal almost down the entirety of the main part of Waikiki Beach. The seal was swimming along. It was really cool to see. Really cool to see. And no, if this is your first stream, hopefully it's not your last, because we've got a lot of good things coming up. If it's your last stream, don't miss out on the stuff that's coming up. Give us another shot. We don't always have Wendy Silva on here. We don't always have Lance. So if that's keeping you away, then please give us another chance. And just know that I love and appreciate every second, every minute, every hour, every day. You let me talk to you guys about Oahu and Hawaii and Maui and places to go and see. Aloha.